As the late, great Bobby Jones once said, the most important distance in golf is that 5 inches right between your ears. Yes, the mental game, most people would say golf is 90% mental, the other 10% psychological, however you want to describe it. The mental game in golf cannot be overstated how important it is, because golf is a game where we've got a lot of time between shots. It's much more like a free throw in basketball than it is to actually playing the game of basketball. We've got an amount of time between shots to think about things, and that's not always optimal when you're trying to play your best golf and to try and react to a target. So today I'm going to share with you some tips on the mental side of golf. We don't often get into this, but it's one of my favorite subjects to unpack. I'm going to give you some mental tips, but I'm also going to give you some physical tips. So we're going to combine the mind and the body today to help you play your best golf, or give you the best chance of playing your best golf. So mental tip number 1 is to be present. And you've probably heard about this before, as it maybe applies to life. Being present, being in the situation that you're at and not having your attention distracted. Really important to golf. Prominent golf sports psychologist Mo Pickens says being present is just essentially being where your feet are. So wherever you are, be in that actual moment. So we're not thinking about, maybe the last hole that you bogeyed or 3-putted, or the last hole that you maybe birdied, and you're going to try and and you don't want to give that stroke back, or thinking towards the future. Maybe if you're on the verge of shooting a personal best and you have to make 3 pars to shoot your best ever score, whatever that is not being present at all. So being present is just being where your feet are, dealing with the shot that's in front of you, and then repeating that and repeating that. And again, we've heard this all before, but thinking about those things on the golf course, and you will at times be distracted in terms of thoughts coming into your head, whether they're the future or from the past. Acknowledging the thought is okay, and you are going to think those things. So acknowledging, yes, okay, that's a thought about the past. Am I being present? So I'm going to bring myself to the task at hand, which brings us to number 2, being present. But 2, are you going to be task focused, or are you going to be results focused on the golf course? So focusing on the task is very, very simple. It's just, this is the shot I have in front of me. This is the shot I have to play. Here's the distance. Here's the wind. Assessing the lie if you're not off a tee. Picking a specific target. All those kinds of things go into planning and being focused on the task. And then simply executing, stepping into the shot and reacting to your target. Again, you do that by developing a solid pre-shot routine. That is all involved in getting you focused on the task. The pre-shot routine should get you locked onto the target. It should get you mentally prepared and physically prepared to hit the golf shot. And that's it. It's not just a preset amount of waggles before you take the club back. It's getting yourself mentally prepared, seeing the target, visualizing the target, however you see that, whether you see a tracer like they have on TV now that shows you hitting the ball to where you want to hit it, whether you just see the target, it's up to you and your imagination. But those are things that you have to visualize in your pre-shot routine to focus on the task and be in the present moment. Another thing is to actually have a post-shot routine. And most people might think twice or do a double take when you say, do you have a post-shot routine? Because most people have heard about pre-shot routine, but a post-shot routine, a lot of people's post-shot routine is, what was the result? Was it what I wanted or was it not? And most of the times it's not quite what golfers want. So if it's not up to snuff, most golfers are going to say, oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. That wasn't a good shot. And they might berate themselves a little bit. Whereas a really good post-shot routine, instead of saying, oh, that was a terrible shot, like, now you're going to probably make bogey. Why are you out here? This is not what I signed up for. When you have a good post-shot routine, if it was a less than desired result, say you hit a tee shot in the left rough, it's off your target by about 25 to 40 yards, it's not out of bounds, the world's not going to end. You can say, okay, that shot was about 30 yards offline to the left. Why'd that happen? Be curious about the result rather than saying, oh, that was terrible, and talking down to yourself. So that would be a good example of a post-shot routine is, oh, that's interesting. Why did the ball go there? And think about, What happened to create that result? You're not blaming yourself. You're just saying, oh, what happened here? Analyze the situation. So that's being focused on the task and being present, okay, rather than the results, okay, being focused on the task. And once the result's done, you can have your post-shot routine to take that apart, okay. The last mental trick we're going to talk about is how to stay really, focused on that task. And it's to see something as a task or a challenge. So do you see the golf shot in front of you as a challenge, or do you see it as a threat? Now that may sound a little strange, but if you have an intimidating tee shot that you faced many times at your home club, and maybe there's out of bounds on the right and there's water on the left, and you've been out of bounds hitting 3 off the tee more times than you can remember, and you've also pulled it left into the water more times than you care to remember. That mental scar tissue, or the past, can bring up that hole. It can make that hole seem very threatening. That's what I mean by is the hole or the task in front of you, is it a threat or is it a challenge? How do you view that in your mind? If you see it as a threat, that is going to affect your body's nervous system. That's going to have a physical response in your body, because you start seeing it as a threat, okay? Your sympathetic nervous system is going to get triggered a little bit. You're probably going to breathe short. You're going to get a little bit tight in your muscles. Your grip pressure might increase, and you're going to lose some tempo. It's going to elicit a fight or flight response, essentially. If you're fighting it, your pressure might get a little tight, and you might try and steer the ball and guide it. If you have a flight response, you might just want to get it over with, and you might just hit it quick, and the result's probably not going to be great. If you're seeing the hole as a threat, or the shot at hand as a threat, if you see it as a challenge, you can say, okay, how am I going to overcome this challenge? Focus on the task. Where's the wind doing? What's the lie doing? Go through your pre-shot routine. Be present where your feet are, and just try and execute a task, okay? See it as a challenge to problem solve and give it your best shot. So those would be all the best mental tips that I can give you in this short amount of time. You might have to replay some of that, but write those things down and see how often you're actually doing those things in a round of golf. Chances are you might not be doing it at all. And if you just start employing some of these techniques on a regular basis, you can not only maybe shoot your best score. The score is beyond your control, but you can control how you approach the shot and how you react to the shot, okay? Now I'm going to share with you some physical things you can do on the golf course to help you play your best. And if you're finding this stuff helpful, these tips that we're sharing, just hit subscribe. That would really help us out a lot, and we can continue to give you guys more great content. Moving on to the physical side of it. So what can you do on the golf course? I mean, we've warmed up already, say we're into the round. What can you do to make sure that you're playing your best golf and giving your brain the best chance to play its best golf? Number one, and this is very, very commonly overlooked, is breathing, okay? I often joke with clients, and I'll tell people here, most people breathe just enough so that they don't die. And I'm pretty serious when I say that. If you actually pay attention to how people are breathing, they're just kind of breathing a little shallow. They're not taking purposeful deep breaths unless you tell them to breathe. So pay attention to how you're breathing. Your body's designed with the wonderful thing called a nose, that's for breathing. Your mouth is for eating and talking, okay? That's it. Unless the only other time your mouth should be open breathing is if you are like literally fleeing, running for your life, you're sprinting, okay? That's a fight or flight response, okay? Gasp to take in more oxygen. But your body's designed with the nose. There's little hairs in your nose called cilia that are going to actually filter the air, and your nose is also designed to kind of hydrate and warm the air up a little bit, so your lungs and your throat can actually take in that oxygen a little bit more efficiently. So avoiding fatigue, avoiding all those kinds of things. Breathing is essential for life, obviously, but we need to be able to use it on the golf course to our advantage. So to do that, pay attention to your breathing. Are you breathing through your nose? Are you breathing through your mouth? How long is your inhale? How long is your exhale? Okay, these are things you might not pay that much attention to on the golf course, but in response to hitting a bad shot, rather than getting upset and tense and, I just want to slam a club, you could say, okay, that's interesting. The ball went there. 2 to 3 second inhale, hold that breath in. 3 to 4 second exhale slowly. I do that 3 or 4 times. Deep breath in, relax the face. Breathe out through the nose. If you want to breathe out through your mouth, that's fine, but never in through the mouth. After 3 or 4 breaths, okay, holding it, exhale. Now, I'm a lot more relaxed, okay? I can process that shot, do a good post-shot routine, get any information, maybe learn from that shot, okay, and move on to the next one. Same thing when you're facing, like I said, that shot. Is it a threat or is it a challenge? If you're feeling like it's getting threatening, we can do what's called box breathing. So about 3 seconds in, pause for 2 to 3 seconds, 3 seconds out, okay? If it's, most people, they might have to start with 2 seconds because they're not used to breathing in. That was about 3 seconds. Hold, 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 and then breathe out for 3 seconds, okay? Do that 2 or 3 times, and you'll be amazed how much calmer you'll feel stepping into the shot, while you're thinking about the task at hand. So breathing is super important. That's number 1 on the physical side. Number 2 is to just be aware of your body. Scan your body. Where do you hold tension? Where are you maybe overly relaxed, okay? We want to be stable on the golf course in our lower half, but not tight. Upper body, we want to be a little bit more mobile, okay? So maybe a little more tall but relaxed. Your arms loose. Do you hold tension in your hands a lot or your fists? How do you respond to a bad shot? Is it tight in the arms and hands? Maybe you clench your jaw, okay? Notice that. That's a tendency of mine in response to a poor shot. I'll want to clench my teeth and my jaw and tighten things up. So I have to be aware to relax my jaw and my face. Take a deep breath in, shake my arms out, relax them. I'll often do this on the golf course and just shake things out. Shake the legs out, okay? Be aware of where you're holding tension in your body. If your neck feels tight, maybe roll your shoulders a little bit. Maybe turn your head a little bit side to side, okay? Just being aware of where you're holding tension, okay? Are your shoulders creeping up towards your ears? Let them come down and relax. Stay tall and take a few deep breaths. So by being just aware of where you're holding tension in your body, excess tension and breathing, that will pay huge dividends for you on the golf course. So I hope you guys enjoyed and learned a little bit about the mental side and the physical side on the golf course. I loved sharing that with you, and I'll see you guys next time.